Hi, everybody. Part 6. Oddkins. The lingering aura of Uncle Isaac's goodness still protected the toy shop from the evil. The creatures in the subcellar would not be able to ascend into the upper floors of the building and seize control until that aura had faded. Because the Master of Darkness spoke to Rex in a clear voice that his fellow toys could only hear as a vague whisper, the tuxedoed marionette knew that several Oddkins were about to embark upon a difficult journey to Colleen Shannon's toy shop. They would probably not survive the dangers of the night, the storm, and the city. The chances of reaching Miss Shannon in time were very small, but Rex would not permit them to make the trip unchallenged. "We must stop them," he told the malevolent crowd that gathered around him in the subcellar. "We must go after them and wipe them out. I will need your assistance. Lizzie, you will come with me." Lizzie was another marionette. She was made up like a flapper from the roaring 20s, and she wore a sleeveless red dress with a short hemline and a long waistline, a matching hat that was tightly fitted and decorated with small blue feather and 3 strands of blue beads. Her cheeks were brightly rouged, her hair lay across her forehead in a series of tight curls. There was a hard, cold look about her that Rex liked, the meanness in her blue eyes. She carried a black cigarette holder that contained a plastic cigarette. Like Rex, she had no strings attached to her. Rex said, "And you, Gear, you will join us. We might have a need of your strength." Gear was the robot, the last Charn toy created before Uncle Isaac took over the factory. A futuristic design. He was made entirely of metal and was lightly filmed with rust that steadily disappeared as the power of evil revitalized him after years of inactivity. 2 small but fierce yellow lights glowed in his deep eye sockets. His lipless mouth was toothed like the jaws of a steam shovel, and his hands looked frighteningly powerful. He stepped forward, pushing through the crowd of vicious toys, all of whom crowded forward in their eagerness to be chosen. Gear's feet clanked softly and occasionally struck a spark on the cold stone floor. The robot stopped in front of the crate on which Rex stood, and he looked up. In a voice of ice and iron, he said, "I will tear their soft limbs apart. I will rip the stuffing out of them. I will tear them to pieces." Something about Gear made even Rex uneasy, so he looked quickly away and pointed at Jack Weasel. "You will join as well." Jack Weasel was a jack-in-the-box. His red box was on wheels that boasted shiny, razor-sharp rims. His body was an accordion-like structure that rose out of the box and supported a wickedly painted clown's head. The mouth was large and red, and his teeth were yellow. The pupil of his right eye was small and green, but the pupil of his left eye was large and blood red. He wore a ruffled clown's collar and a black derby, much too small for him, although there was nothing comical about his attire. He could propel himself with 2 highly flexible arms that ended in 4-fingered, white-gloved hands. His wheels clicked on the stone floor. Jack rolled forward and gazed admiringly at Rex. He giggled in a whispery voice. He said, "I'll snatch one of those cuddly little Oddkins and drag them inside my box. I'll close the lid tight, and that will be the end of them." Jack Weasel looked perfectly mad. He giggled again. Rex's final choice was Stinger the Bee. This creature was made of wood and hinged metal wings and 4 hinged legs of wood. His yellow body was marked by black stripes. His head was yellow with large crimson eyes, and his facial features were less like those of a bee than those of a man. When Stinger was held by a child's hand and swooped through the air, his wings would flap. He also made buzzing sound like wind passing through the hole in his body, and in passing, turned 2 sets of noise-making propellers. He had red wheels too, so he could be rolled along the floor. Rex chose Stinger because, powered by all the darkness, the bee could actually fly. He'd be able to soar ahead of the others in search of the Oddkins and report back to Rex when they located the enemy. Besides, Stinger was a good warrior as well. His body ended in the weapon that gave him his name, a curved stinger that did not look impressive until when needed. It telescoped out of the bee's body, becoming 3 times longer and much sharper than it first appeared to be. When he heard Rex call his name, Stinger flew out of the dark corner of the subcellar. He buzzed overhead and the other toys, and he was grinning, and his red eyes flashed. "They have no chance against us." Rex said with a low growl of agreement passing through the crowd of the subcellar. Now you can get to see a big picture of the subcellar and all the different characters that are in there. You see Rex, and Lizzie, Jack, Gear, Stinger. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Have a good day.